Hey guys, so this is the Truthear NOVA hybrid in-ear monitors. Now Truthear does not need any further introduction. You've already heard of the Truthear Hola, the Truthear Hexa, the Truthear Clinical Zero Red, so they are pretty famous and make some pretty nifty in-ear monitors. When it comes to the NOVA, it's a hybrid in-ear monitor, which means that it packs both a dynamic driver as well as balanced armatures inside. And that is supposed to give you a balanced sound signature where you do not miss out on any detail. So I'm going to break down what the sound signature is like, whether it's worth its price tag, and finally, whether you should get this or not. Alright, so first let's start with the unboxing. Now the Truthear NOVA comes in a rather premium packaging, which I'm really a fan of. Once you take out the outer cover, you're greeted with this really slick and stealthy looking interior box, which I really love. Inside the box, as you can see, everything is very neatly arranged, and I love such premium and classy unboxings. So inside the box you get some paperwork, you get different sizes and different types of ear tips, starting from double flange ear tips to foam ear tips, and then to your regular silicone ear tips of various sizes. You also get the braided cable that has 2-pin connectors on one end and a 3.5mm audio jack on the other. You also get a carrying pouch to carry these in-ear monitors in, and of course you get the Truthear NOVA hybrid in-ear monitors themselves. Now when it comes to the specs of the Truthear NOVA, as I mentioned that these are hybrid in-ear monitors. So this one packs a 10mm dynamic driver inside, which is going to be responsible for your low end and a bit of the mids as well. Then the first set of the balanced armatures is going to take care of the mids as well as the higher frequencies, and the second set of the balanced armatures is going to cater just for the ultra high frequencies. Now as for the impedance, these are around 15 ohms, so obviously these are pretty low impedance in-ear monitors. But as always, I would always suggest that you get a portable DAC, nothing too expensive or fancy, just something that can power these to their full potential and you can use them without leaving anything in the tank. So I'll leave the one that I use in the description below. Now as far as the build quality is concerned, well, it is resin. There's no metal involved anywhere, but it doesn't feel cheap by any means. I'm a huge fan of the faceplate design. It looks really nice. It is kind of classy yet funky at the same time. And for the comfort, I have to say these are extremely comfortable. The resin is very smooth, it takes up the contours of your ears very nicely, gives you a snug fit, they don't fall out, and even for long listening sessions, they weren't uncomfortable at all. There was zero ear fatigue. Okay, so now with the features, the specs and build out of the way, let's talk about the main criteria, which is the audio quality. How good or bad do these sound? So you guys know, if you're an existing viewer, I judge my in-ear monitors based on how they produce the 3 main frequencies that broadly make up any sound that you hear. The highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs are the treble, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Okay, so talking about the higher frequencies or the treble response, this is a frequency that was so beautifully rendered thanks to the amount of detail and richness it packed, the subtle nuances, everything was clearly rendered. Absolutely no sibilance, even though there is a set of armatures dedicated for the ultra high frequencies. There was no distortion anywhere, absolutely no sibilance, they didn't sound harsh, and even for long listening sessions, it's going to be very, very comfortable. What I appreciated the most was how every instrument, every subtle detail in the higher frequencies was so beautifully rendered and how they were spaced. So the highs or the treble did a beautiful job. Next up, we have the mid frequencies or the vocals. Now, the vocals packed a whole lot of detail. It was also quite rich. There was no distortion and it was not hollow. The only thing that I noticed was that I at least preferred listening to female vocals than male vocals on the Truthear NOVA, especially for the mid frequencies. And that's because male vocals naturally have more depth to them and there is more warmth to it, which at times I found that it was missing. So male vocals sounded just a tad bit thin, whereas the same thing was benefiting female vocals. So they sounded far more subtle and pristine, and the detail or the richness sounded far more natural. So definitely favors female vocals, at least in my opinion. For male vocals, by no means is it poor, by no means is it a deal breaker. It's just that when I heard female vocals and male vocals, I was drawn towards the female vocals more due to how natural it sounded compared to male vocals, which I've heard on other in-ear monitors, and I know it packs more warmth and a bit more natural tonality. So that is where I found the difference and I preferred female vocals. But again, overall, vocals packs a lot of detail. Every subtle nuance is beautifully rendered. It doesn't sound hollow, and all together, it is still a very immersive experience. And finally, we get to the low end or the bass response. Now, the Truthear NOVA gives you a really hefty bass response, especially the sub-lows. That rumble in the sub-lows, man, those were beautifully rendered and you really feel it in your ears. Now, for the most part, because these are claimed to give you balanced sound signature, and with most balanced IEMs, it's the sub-lows that they prefer or tune to render. But when it comes to the mid-bass as well, this was absolutely no slouch, because tracks which have that mid-bass, that slam in the mid-bass was mighty powerful from the Truthear NOVA. It hits you hard, and coupled with the sub-lows that go deep, and the slam of the mid-bass that is very hard and punchy, it's a thick, rounded, juicy bass response that I thoroughly enjoyed. And nothing to overpower, nothing to sound fabricated. It's not going to give you a V sound signature by any means. It's still very balanced, but it's still got that immersive experience in the low end that you're really going to enjoy regardless of what genre of music you're listening to. So the bass response, an absolute masterclass. Now, as for the soundstage from the Truthear NOVA is sufficiently wide. You can definitely close your eyes and make out from which direction, which location the instruments are coming from, which also brings to attention the fact that these can also be used for gaming, because if it has a good soundstage and thanks to the balanced armatures that are going to pick up on the high frequencies, the subtle nuances, you can definitely also use these for gaming. Because when you're playing such games, you want to know where the gun was fired, where the footsteps are coming from, the usual. I'm not a gamer, but I've heard and I've seen a lot of people talking about how these make a difference. So definitely, even for gamers, these are going to be a very good choice. And also these are comfortable. So even for long listening sessions, these are going to be perfect. So just to summarize, guys, the Truthear NOVA is definitely one of my top in-ear monitors. When it comes to the sound quality, it's right up there with one of the best that I own, and I have a ton of in-ear monitors lying around, and for me to claim that it occupies one of the top spots is no joke. What stood out is its impeccable control over all the frequencies, the highs, the mids, and the low end. Beautiful control, and just packing in a lot of detail without going overboard. And for all you bass lovers out there, this definitely packs a very, very thick and heavy punch. So just because it's balanced, don't let it give you the idea that it's a weak sounding earphone. It's asking for a pretty hefty price, but what you pay for is an impeccable and really, really immersive audio experience. And I can definitely recommend this for music lovers as well as gamers alike. So definitely check it out from the link in the description below. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of the Truthear NOVA hybrid in-ear monitors. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any other questions regarding this, please hit me up in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. As always, like I said, the link to this is in the description below. If you want to help support my channel and watch more such detailed and high quality reviews in the future, please use that link to make your purchase. It'll help me out and I can produce more and more such content just for you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video, and as always, I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.